Word of the day: pain. And before you hurry up and click off this, because that's not a fun word to think about, I've done a lot of reflecting on it, and I think by leaning into your pain, that's where you'll find your purpose. When I think about my life, I can see where there was some pain sprinkled all throughout it. But the majority of it came in the last 5 years or so. And so the story I'm about to share is difficult to share, for one, because it's intimately personal, and I'm talking about something that was very painful. So it wasn't easy for me to come to the conclusion to make these videos, but after a lot of time reflecting, I think that by doing this, it can take the depths of the negativity that came along with all that pain and reverse it into an overwhelming amount of positivity that could hopefully impact someone else and help them in their own situation. And so this is a long story, and I'm going to try and cram it into a shorter video. I mean, I don't want to have you here for hours talking about it. So there's going to be a lot of stuff, obviously, that a lot of the details that are going to be left out, but I think what you can take from what I'm going to offer here is enough to ponder on yourself for a little while here, and there'll be plenty more videos where I'll open up in more detail about all these things, because again, this is where I find my purpose. It's in all that pain. And so it's been about 4 years now. I lost my mother to a massive heart attack. She had just retired, 60 years old. Obviously, no one was expecting it. It was completely out of nowhere. And it devastated my entire family, needless to say. But while we were trying to absorb that and understand and deal with what had just happened, 3 days later, we lost my aunt. Now, my aunt had Lou Gehrig's disease, and she had been suffering with it for a few years, and at this point, she was fully disabled. We all knew the day would come, but the timing of this was unbelievable. I mean, we were still trying to grasp what had happened with my mother, and now my aunt's gone. And on top of that, within 5 months, my uncle, her husband, also passed away. And I know it's not a medical term, but you know, everybody that knew him and knew the situation knew that what he died of was a broken heart, because watching his wife go through all that suffering and then dying. It was something he just couldn't deal with, and the pain he felt was overwhelming. He just lost his sister. 3 days later, he's losing his wife. And so, I mean, we all lost them in our own ways. And, you know, when we lost my aunt, one of the hardest things I ever had to do was try and console my uncle. I mean, he was a wreck. And I'm trying to do that 3 days after my own mother passed away. And that was probably one of the most difficult things I've ever had to do, because not only was he my uncle, I didn't have my father growing up, so he played the part like a father. He was like an older brother to me. He was my uncle, and he was also like my best friend. And so by losing him, yeah, I just, obviously you get what I'm throwing down here. The point of me telling you all this is because for years, it had me in a dark, dark place. And I couldn't see the light. There was no way out of it. I mean, I couldn't even stand to look at a picture of my mother or either of them for 2 years. It took me 2 years to be able to actually look at a picture. And if, you know, my mom was an avid Facebooker, especially when it came to her grandkids and her family. So of course she was always posting those things on there, and it was tough because those Facebook memories that like to pop up somehow for those 2 years seemed to be constant, and they were always reminding me of what happened. And I couldn't, I mean, if I would get on there and see him, I couldn't even like look at it for a second. I'd have to get out or scroll past it or something. I couldn't even bear to look at it. So the pain was enormous, and it went on for years. And after I finally came to the point that I could actually look at pictures again and see videos and hear her voice again, I think I was at a place where I could finally begin to heal from it, for one. And also, I knew where I was at mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, just wrecked. And I have 3 kids and a wife, and it wasn't helping that situation out any. So I understood that I had to make a change. And if I'm being honest, I thought about that for a long time until I actually acted on it. But one day I did decide I have to change this around, or I'm gonna be next. And it's obvious in my family's genetics that we don't have the greatest lifespan. So I understood that if I didn't change something, I could be next, and that would just be more suffering for my family, who's already been through so much, you know. And so, in a way, it was for me. I knew I had to do it, but the driving force behind it was them. I knew I had to do it for them. And so one day I just decided, that's it. I'm gonna make this change. I'm done thinking about it. I know what I got to do. I'm gonna do it. And so for me, what that looked like was picking up some weights. Now, I used to lift when I was in high school, and I've lifted throughout my adulthood here and there. So I was familiar with it and knew exactly what to do. The problem was finding the motivation to do it, especially in this dark place that I was in. But I showed up. Sorry, it's buggy out here, and I think I just got one in my eye. But anyway, I showed up, And I did that first workout and it sucked. Didn't enjoy it. Next day, I'm sore, but I showed up and didn't enjoy it. But I kept showing up. And slowly, it went from being this chore, or whatever you could call it, just something that I didn't look forward to in my day, to actually becoming something that I started looking forward to. And then I started feeling better and I started seeing results. And through all of this, I was changing my eating habits, basically just trying to get my health in order and my life back on track, and to stop with a lot of these bad habits that I knew weren't doing me any favors. And yeah, that went on for a year and a half, and I found myself probably in the best shape of my life. I mean, there were at times, I think in my 30s, where I was in pretty good shape too, when I was dedicated to lifting weights and trying to be healthy. But honestly, I think at 45, that's the most healthy I had been. I had set goals, which working out 5-6 days a week, eating a certain amount in a certain way, and trail running were what was part of my goals. And that was last year, and that year I felt probably the best I felt in a long time, and I met all those goals. But then life strikes again. And I don't want this video to be too long, and I feel like that is heavy enough for this one. But the point is, life throws shit at you, knocks you down, but then you got to find a way to get back up. And then once you're up and you're rolling again, you can look back on it and see that it wasn't pointless. Everything happens for a reason. And if you don't do something with it, well, then it does become pointless. But for me, by telling this story, I'm doing something with it. And my plan here with this channel is to show you how, no matter what it is you're going through, I mean, everybody's situations are different, but bouncing back, that's the ultimate message. And that's all you can do. I mean, what else are you gonna do? You can't just lay down and accept fate that this is it. Just life sucks and it just throws constant negativity at me. And that may be true. I mean, I've felt like that was the case. But after going through all that, I know it's not. And the next story is what happened from that point on, you know, like where I was in good shape. I finally got my life back on track. I finally was able to heal a certain amount, you know. I mean, dealing with these things is something you'll deal with forever, but I finally was at a place where I had somewhat peace with it. And then, like I said, life struck again. So that's gonna bring us up to more recent times, and that'll be in the next video. So check it out if you're interested. Thanks.